All right, 3, 2, 1. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have a guest, as we always do. His name is Carmen Costa, and he's going to be talking to us about his book called Proctor. He's coming up, and we're also going to, deviate a little bit from our Get Your Meds segment, and we're going to talk about what we've got going on, which is Forbidden, which is coming out in a few weeks, and the shameless plug on my end. So we're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes.
Yeah, man. Lots to talk about. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch Da Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man, Vera, and I am what?
George the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. September 23rd is the date. 8:02 p.m. is the time. What's up, Lou? And we are live tonight with you guys. We have another great show for you. We have a guest tonight. I think he should be coming in soon. We'll come in, at the in a few minutes. But we have a book that he created called Proctor. I actually picked up the book at one of the conventions where I met him. Really, really, really good graphic novel. This is the first 3 issues here in this graphic novel, and then he had issue number 4. And right now, issue number 5 is live on Kickstarter, which is what we're going to be talking to him about. So big shout out to him. Artwork is incredible. We talk about it with Sam. It's a really cool looking book. So we're going to have him on the show in just a few minutes. What up, Dan? And the Zed, what up, Ed? How you doing, my man? And the week flew by. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so we are going to be talking about that. And then the second half of the show, we are going to be doing some shameless plugs. We're going to be talking about our stuff for the second half of the show. So get ready. Get ready. Sam's got Forbidden. Yes. I got the shameless plug, so we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking. But what's going on, Sam? How you doing, bud?
Woo! How am I doing? Just getting ready for Denton Comic Art Expo this Saturday. Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. We've been doing it every year since I've been in Texas. I really love that show. It's the same promoter, Brian Kelly. There you go. I'm trying to remember his name. Shout out to Brian Kelly. That's this weekend, yeah.
This weekend, yeah. Okay.
This Saturday. So I'll be at the Denton Comic Art Expo. I'm looking forward to that. Then got a couple weeks off, and then I'm heading over to San Antonio for the big Texas Comic Con. It's a 3-day show. I didn't realize it was a 3-day show until I went to book my hotel. I was like, wait, hold on. Oh, I got to stay there 3 nights. I was like, dang. I was like, oh. So, and the first day is a long day. And and then the second day is a long day. The second day is, I think it's from like 9 to 7. And I'm like, those are long days, bro. But when I looked at where my table was, it's right next to the bathroom. So I'm good. So I'm like, I don't have to walk across an entire place and, nobody to cover my booth. So I could just be like, yo, pew.
People got to use the bathroom, right?
So, yeah, man. Bathroom. So not looking forward to that drive. That drives of 5 hours plus. So, but I'm looking forward to the event. And then we got lots going on. Getting ready to launch Forbidden on Kickstarter, the 200-page graphic novel. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's on the 14th of October. Okay. Shout out to everybody who signed up. But yeah, that's what I got going on. Just wrapping that up, formatting the book for print, both hardcover and softcover. So
yeah, Yeah, man. Listen, it's a grind. Like to get
Yeah.
these Kickstarters ready to rock and roll, it's a lot
Yeah.
of work.
Mucho
between-
trabajo, bro.
Yeah, between thinking about okay, what are going to be the rewards to actually putting the page together so that aesthetically it looks good and people want to kind of scroll through it. Yeah, there's a whole
Just
science.
designing a Kickstarter page is an art form.
Yeah,
It's
designing
just
it.
like,
Yeah,
dang, I can't just put it there and just say buy it. You got to make it fancy schmancy,
make
and
it look good.
it's got to be cohesive and have some sort of theme to it, and it's crazy.
It's funny. I do most of my Kickstarter shopping. I do it on my phone, and I never look at the campaigns. Like I look to see like if because now I feel like I'm pledging to like if I, for example, people we have on the show, things that pop up on Facebook, I'll just click on it and like and I don't know if you guys watching, if you do the same thing, when you're going to pledge. Like if you look at something and you like the artwork, it's very little for me. It's very little scrolling. It's how much is it? Is it affordable for me? Can I afford this right now? All right, I'll drop this much money into it. Let's go. That's how I'm pledging to things now.
Yeah.
So, but you still have to create the page. You still have to make it look good because there are people who do scroll through and want to see every single thing.
Yeah, man.
So
it's crazy. It's one of the things I'm not really good at is like a lot of cross collabs, right? And I've been trying to get better at that, which is why I've been doing a lot of things with other creatives and all that stuff, whatever. But Forbidden is available issue 0 for free on Snowpaw on that campaign, so you back that campaign, you can get Forbidden free, and also on the Comic Shop Anthology, which just launched I think yesterday or the day before, and is doing well. And Forbidden is also available there, issue 0. Or you can get it by signing up and to the campaign today, and get issue 0 as a preview to what's coming with this 200-page graphic novel. So great 3 opportunities to get Forbidden. You could pick up some fantastic books by other creatives, or sign up for the campaign today and get it here. So yeah, it's just me trying to branch out and work with a lot of other people. And really talented people that really have a strong following. So I'm hoping that people on their end come over to this end and say, "Hey, let me check that out."
Yeah. So for me this weekend, I have the Yonkers Comic Con. So if you guys are in Yonkers, New York, this weekend I will be at the library, the Yonkers Public Riverfront Library, which is down for those locals. It's in Getty Square. So go check us out. It's over by the Yonkers train station, the Metro North. So come check us out. I will be there. It's a 1-day show, so we're going to be there from 10 to 5, and it should be a good time. It should be a really good time. I will be there, with Wonder Duck and Russ, and I will be promoting obviously the shameless plug there. So make sure you stop in. I was talking to Sam. I was telling you, Sam, I spoke to the library. Okay, so, and we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this when it's our time to chat about things. But yeah, so I got that going on. I'm setting up the shameless plug campaign. So if you haven't done so yet, follow the campaign. It's good for the algorithm, right? As soon as that thing launches, hopefully we can shoot it all the way up to the some of the top searches and stuff like that. It helps. So make sure you sign up for that. And what am I doing next weekend? That's what I'm doing this weekend. Dude, October is going to be crazy. Like right after we start launching our stuff, like the launch is October 7th. So for those watching, make sure you join us here on Catch Da Craze. I will be launching the campaign in 2 episodes. Episode 603 will be the launch, and that's on October 7th. So make sure you come in October 7th. Then I go to the East Meadow Public Library with Mark Torres. You know how he does it came from the radio. That'll be October 8th. So that's going to be that day. And then that's the week of the Comic-Con. So a lot going on, man. A lot going on. In the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about our campaigns. You're going to see a lot about that stuff, updates, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, check it out.
And if you haven't checked out the Art of Samuel on YouTube, go check it out. The past 2 episodes of Drawing Live with Lou Pons. The first time I was at a convention and the audio was crap from because I was in a hotel and the Wi-Fi sucked. And not only that, I was drawing on my X Pen tablet, but I didn't calibrate my pen, so I didn't like I couldn't fix the line width and all that stuff. So, but then we did part 2, and I was back in the safety and the confines of my home with my Cintiq, and my pen tip was already calibrated, so I was good. We're looking to do part 3 and finish up that piece. She did a fantastic rendition of Deseret, and I'm working on Deseret. I got the flats done, and I'll be doing the tones and all that stuff on the next time. So we'll coordinate the next time we'll go on live. But yeah, if you haven't checked them out, check it out. But again, if you're watching this, if this is your first time checking us out, hit that like button, subscribe, let everybody know where you got this from. So we're still waiting on our guest. I sent the links both on Facebook Messenger and on email. So I don't know if they got it, but either way, we're still waiting on our guest, and but we'll keep this party going until our guest arrives.
Word.
Yeah, man. But no.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
No. I'm just pretty stoked. I'm excited because it's a 1-day show Saturday, and 1-day shows are so much easier. And it's a smaller venue. It's free to the public. And I love the location. It's like a circular building. I'm going to meet George Solis. I think he's going to be there this weekend.
Nice.
And yeah, so
great dude, man.
Yeah, so I think also Marco DeFilio is going to be there too. So I love hanging out with those guys, and so that's going to be pretty cool. And then it's just, and I'm working on issue 8 of There's Nail in My Toilet to launch in February, and the art book is still pending. I'm trying to think whether or not how to release it and want to build momentum on that art book. So we'll see what happens. Because I really wanted that art book to be very successful. So not sure yet how I'm going to market it, how am I going to promote it, but I'm still working on the lab.
Cool. I just got a message actually from I guess he says he's running a little late, so we get let's get going on the stuff that we were going to do. Yeah,
man. So so talk about what can people expect from Shameless Plug, homie?
All right, so the Shameless.
He says, I don't know how this week will compare to last week. The guests were phenomenal.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me just set a message. Yeah. Okay, hold on. He's gonna come on in a few minutes. All right. So anyway, so the Shameless Plug. Yeah. So part of what I was starting to tell you guys was, all right. So I was at the library. So I don't know if you guys, for some of you that know us for a while, you've been watching the show. A couple of years ago, I did a Kickstarter for Wonder Duck, and I linked up with Comic Books for Kids, and we sent out a bunch of comics. I think it was almost 100 comics we sent out, and we donated to Comic Book for Kids, right? And that was awesome, and I thank everybody who did that. That was incredible. This time around, I was at the Yonkers Library today because I was, talking about what I'm going to be doing this weekend there for the day. And I'm a local guy. I grew up in Yonkers. I've been here my entire life. I mean, the library moved from one location to this location, and I was at the old one when I was a little kid pulling books out of the library. So I've been here for a long time. So I went in there and I asked him, I said, would you be interested in comics that I created? I can donate to the library. And they were like, absolutely, let's do it. So one of the perks or one of the tiers on the Shameless Plug is going to be it's called the Pay It Forward tier. And what it is when you pledge to that tier, you will get this cover and you will get this cover. You will get both covers of the book, both versions of the cover. And when you pledge to that campaign, to that tier, 5 issues of the book, 5 copies of this book will be donated to the library. So every time somebody pledges to that tier, you get both of these for you. No, and shipping is included. I'm not charging you guys shipping. So you guys get both of these books plus 5 books go to the library. So that's my favorite tier right now. Looking forward to doing that.
Raising the stakes. Damn, I gotta go back to the lab.
That's great. That's
crazy.
So that's that tier. So we're gonna be doing that. And I'm thinking that for the first 24 hours, there's gonna be a discount on that tier. for the first 24 hours.
Ball it.
And then
Ball it.
I hate you. I hate you.
He's like, damn, making me look bad. Why'd you go first? Why do you have to go first? I'm moving my date.
Yeah. So that I'll tell you guys that, and then as the weeks, I mean, next week we're probably gonna do the same thing, and we'll start showing you guys more stuff. But that was something that happened today, so I figured let me share it on the show today because like I said, I'm very excited. It's tough to put these things together, dude, and to get ideas for these things that people maybe have done in the past or whatever. But I thought, why not? You know what I mean? You and I, we talked about maybe a topic for today, and one of those topics was how do we make comics more, how do we get
I'm on the
comics to
back
be
of
more
my eye. Come
important?
up with something, Sam.
Right.
How do I follow that?
so we're gonna hit up with the library. And so for those watching, if you pledge to the campaign, consider pledging to that one. I mean, obviously there'll be other tiers, and there'll be more cost-effective tiers for you guys, but this one I think is a good one. Like I said, I did this a couple of years ago with the comic books for kids. We raised a lot of we sent a lot of comics out to the kids, and that was great. So this time around we're going to work with the library, and they're interested in doing that.
Yeah, what came first, the character design for Shameless Plug, or did the title come first?
So the title came first on that, Ed. I saw a plug. I saw the little head of a plug of my what is it, my iPhone, and I was like, oh, that's a cool little, that would make a cool character, right? And so I was like, oh, that's a plug. Oh, Shameless Plug. So yeah, this is what kind of like inspired this guy. So once I had that in my head, I was like, let's make this something you can move. So it became the Shameless Plug. And we were off. What up, Mike?
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, our guest just entered the waiting room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's bring in our guest, Carmen Costa. What's up?
What's good, guys? Thank you for having me on.
Carmen, what up, brother?
Yo, it's been a wild couple of days, man. So I'm ready. I'm coming off a back to school night, dude. I just entertained some parents. We're ready to go.
All right. Well, there you go, man. Listen, it was a pleasure meeting you at Terrificon. So for those who don't know, that's where I met Carmen. I was like, you were actually sitting next to Michael San Martino and Rob.
Yeah.
They were the Technogods. And so I picked up the book. I picked up this bad boy. And I appreciate you sending me the digital copy of it too, because I was like, where's the book? And I wanted to read it before you came on. So I was able to pick this up, and I was able to pick that up. And now I'm looking forward to issue number 5, my brother.
Thank you.
But thank you for coming on. This is Sam. I guess this is the first time you guys meet each other. But for those who don't know who Carmen Costa is, my brother, introduce yourself to the world here.
My name's Carmen Costa. I am the writer and creator of Proctor. Proctor's a 6-issue miniseries. It's like a supernatural adventure story. Imagine if your favorite monster hunter had a drinking problem and a toxic relationship with her mom. It's pretty much how the story starts. I'm also the founder of Harpoon Creative Industries, which is the publishing company that I produce the comics through.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. And listen, I have a bunch of questions for you. Because after I read this book, I was like, dude, Sam, you know me. I'm not a big reader, bro. Like I don't know you. I'm not a big reader. Unless the name of the writer is Mitch Albom, I don't read prose. I really don't. You've done something very interesting in the book. Now, obviously, the book is a comic, guys. It is a graphic novel. But in between the chapters, dude, you did this. You added these prose stories in between the chapters, right?
Nice.
For the graphic novel, not necessarily. And dude, I don't read, bro. You had me reading this stuff. It's really, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. It really is a good read. How did you come up with the concept of doing that? Where you have your graphic novel, but you also have these prose little short stories, which kind of like add depth to the book.
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. So the first thing is this started as a 300-page book. So it took me, I started writing it right before COVID. So I think the fall of 2019, maybe. And, after having it written and going through revisions and pitching it and everything else, After I decided that I wanted to make it a comic and going through it, I realized that there were chapters in the book that I couldn't fit in the narrative arc of the comic, because for anybody who doesn't know, if you, and maybe I could be wrong saying this too, so maybe I'm the idiot, but from my research, from what I found and talking to people, like, you don't pitch a 12-issue story to an indie publisher. Like, it's you definitely don't pitch an ongoing story, right? So when I first did this map of this comic series, initially in my head, I was like, this is going to be 12 issues. And then everyone I talked to kind of laughed at me. They were like, it's just, no one's going to pick up. It's too much. It's too much of a risk. So then I pared it down to 8 issues, and then talked to Ricardo, my artist, about it. And he's like, it's gotta be 8. Like, is there anything, you know what I mean? Like, can we do? So I went back through and I was like, man, you're right. I just blew out two more of the issues and really watered it down to these, or not watered it down, but distilled it down to these 6 issues. But there were a couple chapters that I still loved. And I was like, man, do I do them as like one shots? Like, how do I do this? And that was part 1. Part 2 was, I was stuck in, I talk about this all the time when people ask me about making a comic. You are stuck in the financial frameworks of the marketplace. Like, you can't outright your budget. So when I was like, it could be 8 issues, or it could, maybe I'll do these as one shots. I was like, man, each issue costs me like $7,000 just to make, not even print, just to make cost me $7,000.
Right.
So I'm like, do I want to spend another $7,000 on a one shot? But these are really important to me. And at the time, I was also like had this idea of eventually writing a children's book. I eventually had gone and am since finished my graduate school for education, being a reading specialist, and you're forced to look at all these books and all this other stuff. And for some reason, Winnie the Pooh popped in my head, and Winnie the Pooh has, like, if you like that, the first chapter has the picture, and then there's prose, and then there's the picture, and then prose, and then all of those like young readers for like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, maybe 4th grade's a little too much. Yeah, like that's what I stole it. I stole that idea, like from like 2nd and 3rd grade stories. Like, if you go to the library right now and buy readers for 2nd and 3rd graders, a lot of them are broken down like that. Yeah. So
maybe that's why I like reading it. Carmen, it's like, it's like
2nd, 3rd grader, dude.
I'm like, yes, this is my speed. No, listen, and that doesn't mean that it reads for like 2nd or 3rd graders, guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's very well written, dude.
Well, then I started researching, and I forgot like scary stories to tell in the dark, where the sidewalk ends. And then coincidentally, in the comic shop that I work at, like literally that week, somebody came in, sold a collection, and in that collection was this like kind of like one-off like magazine from like the mid-90s that was literally it was a giant splash page of black and white, and then like the horror story. And it was like a 10-page story with these giant, wild, super metal splash pages. And I was like, there's no rule I can't do this. I could just do this. So that kind of like helped build out the reason for what you have in your hands.
Dude, that's a great story, man. Yeah, and you know what? So when I saw you, George is doing your job for you. And when I saw this on your table, I noticed that yes, you did have obviously the comics and stuff like that, but you do actually sell these short stories separately.
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily, like, say for example, you're just a reader, you just want to read, prose, you don't read comics. You can buy those separately, right?
Yep. I have like here's one right here. Yeah. So the other thing was I wanted to use like a Philly printer. So I printed through this company called Fireball right in Philadelphia. But then again, financial frameworks are the thing. Like, you're stuck with 8x5s. I'm sorry, 8.5 by 5.5. So it kind of looks like an ash can. So they're blown up for the graphic novel, but when I sell them at events, they're little ash can stories. So you can just read those. You can read just the comics and not the short stories, because the short stories just build the world out. They're not completely necessary. I'm really excited. So for issue 5 during this Kickstarter campaign, this is the first time that you are going to get a short story that was not originally in the book.
Oh.
So this short story called Firsts is about the main character, Samantha Hale, her first experience becoming a monster hunter. And this was really fun for me because I got to play in a sandbox that I had built with like, I was like, okay, now I get to live in this world and play around. It was also, the stakes were kind of high because I was kind of in the back of my head thinking like, can I actually, I've been like running on the fumes of this thing that I started writing in 2019.
Right.
Do I still have like the energy to keep telling the story? And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. It's the most fun I've had in a long time writing. So I'm really excited for people to experience it. The craziest thing about, and this is for anybody who's considering doing this, do it. It's a little expensive to print if you're printing short runs. But there are ways that you can kind of cut costs and get around it. But like you can tap into a market demo that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, people, this one story. So this one time in Italy, this is the first short story that's in the graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
People come up to me who have read this and ask me about the characters in this story more than they ask me about the characters in the comic, where they're like, are we going to get another, like, am I going to, on multiple occasions, and people won't know who are this first time reading this or first time hearing from me, but people will say like, hey, I want to know more about Charlie. Is Charlie ever coming back? And I'm like, maybe I had no intention of bringing it back, but
so is Charlie in the 300-page novel that you wrote?
Yeah,
he is in there.
He is in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was Rob saying? Having the options of pure reading and or the visuals of comics allows different potential audiences to cross over and delve into a different leisurely need. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening with you, right? Like you said, people are coming up and saying, what's going to happen with Charlie? Now, have you thought about what's going to happen to Charlie? Are you thinking about maybe a spinoff? What's your thought behind that?
So I don't know. Like I now have like I have an idea of like stringing the characters from the short stories together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe looping back around. And it's been like crazy. And you know, that's crazy. Now that you're asking me, was Charlie in the book? I'm like, I don't even know anymore. I'm like, but that's what's happening to my brain with this story now, where I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he has to be in the book because people like bring him up. And no, I'm just not saying people have read the book because other than like a couple beta readers, but I'm like, he's such an important part. He just is an important part of that story.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
He is.
Where I'm like,
but you know what? And I'll tell you this, and this sounds like craziness to people who haven't obviously read. Pick this up, read it. I'm telling you. But the thing with Charlie, right? I feel like it's one of those characters where, like you said, it's so well written. And I'll say this, that you can continue writing Charlie, or you don't have to continue writing Charlie. Because I feel like when I read it in here as the graphic novel, he did what he was supposed to do, and I continued reading the rest of the story. It was almost like, let's take a pause here. Let's read this. That was cool. Interesting. That's what, okay. And then I went back into the graphic novel, and I kept enjoying the adventure that she's going through in that story. So yeah, it was actually, you know, I mean, I like the way you did that. And these two are going off with the free pickle. Can you... What's free pickle, Carmen? So they always hijack the show, dude. This is what they do. These
they were out on
good
behavior.
I think, because I didn't see who said it.
It was Michael and Rob, the guys who were sitting right next to you. Technically.
Oh God, yo. Yes. So Pickle's the name of my dog.
Oh, okay.
And Pickle was at Terrificon the whole time.
He was.
Yeah.
Oh, free Pickle. They were saying free him.
He was at the booth the whole time. He's just quiet, so he's like underneath the.
I didn't even know. Dude.
Yeah, he's like a little French bulldog, but he's also in the comic. So so for my first two or three Kickstarters, you could pay money to get yourself drawn in the comic. And my wife was like, I don't want to be drawn in the comic, but I want the dog drawn in the comic. So
Yeah, okay.
he's on a variant cover. And he's also, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah. So like he's on a cover. So that's him right there.
He is. Okay.
And then he's also in issue 2, kind of like in the background, but he ends up becoming like, so they're like walking him in like one of these little pictures, but he ends up, so speaking of like cross audiences, right? Like
right.
Because I did like the short story and the comic, I get people who are like, I don't like comics, but I like reading, so I'll buy it. Right. Or I don't like reading, but I like comics, so I'll buy it, and then maybe they'll get into it. Dog lovers dig it. Like when I have that one cover as a poster, which I print and sell, people walk up just because of the dog. And then I'm like, then it's more fun because I'm like, well, that's my dog, and he's in the comic, and then they get more excited. So I'm like,
tie it up, yeah.
Will I eventually give him a voice? Like, he's definitely canon. He is Irish Tom's dog for sure.
Right.
I'm thinking about, it would be my first one shot, doing a one shot with Irish Tom and Sophia, the two that he meets, that she meets.
Cool characters too, by the way.
Thank you. So I want to do maybe a one shot with those two that takes place like 200 years ago. Wow. And it's how they find Pickle.
Nice.
And like kind of the calamity that ensues around that. So
cool, man. Cool. So I have this question for you, Carmen. So okay, so every chapter, again, it's the way you put this book together, dude. There were so many things. As I was reading, I'm like, yo, question. So every chapter in the graphic novel starts with a very insightful prologue type of introduction, right? And you spoke about like in one of them, you spoke about what it would be reading this book like, right? So can you talk to us a little bit about where you were emotionally, maybe when you were creating this project? If you could do that, like what led to some of this very deep, dude, these are really cool, and it kind of sets the mood for that particular, issue or whatever.
Yeah, so I have always been writing. And again, going back to the short stories, there's no rules really to this thing. So I know that authors, and if you're reading comics, sometimes you get that beginning note or the end note on certain issues sometimes. Or if you get a graphic novel, they have like that little opening thing. So I've been reading those just in passing, just in consuming comics. And I was thinking like, man, I still have things that I need to say and I want to say that I would be like, I think everybody's seen a movie or read a comic or experienced some sort of content where like a message is just shoehorned into the content. And you're like, it just doesn't land the way that you would want it to land. And I just feel I'm a believer in like time and a place, So what I decided was I needed an explanation for why a comic and why not a book and where my headspace was at the time. I had written, so like I said, started writing this book in 2019. I had gotten sober in the beginning of 2019, I believe. So, I kind of wanted to allude to certain things, and, I'm 40 years old, and I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. It's not that I'm starting over, but very few people embark on a creative endeavor in their late 30s. Like, I grew up in a time where all of my heroes were in bands and they were signed and on tour by the time they were 22. Yep. You know what I mean? And it was like, if you didn't make it by the time you were 25, it's a wrap, And I had done like the music thing, the singer-songwriter thing. By the time I was 30, I had licensed songs to MTV and I had music on the radio, and I had played out a whole bunch and did some really exciting things. And that's what everybody who knew me personally knew me. Like, I've always been known as the music guy, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, friends, family, people, how's the music going was kind of almost always like a question that was asked. And I put that to bed eventually by like my late 20s. Like, I just felt like I didn't have anything more to say. And I thought that the way that the industry was going anyway, like, I just didn't want to be a part of. I didn't want to have to walk down the road that you would have to walk right now to make it in music. It's a completely different animal than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I needed to clear the air a little bit. So that was kind of hanging over my head, just about like what I was doing and why I was doing it and what the point of it all was. So like that very first note in issue 1 is probably like the heaviest, you know.
Yeah, it's good.
I was you know, the book is about being a mess in your 20s in a lot of ways, and I was a mess in my 20s. And you know, I also am at a point in my educational career where now I'm a reading specialist in an elementary school, but I spent 15 years teaching high schoolers, right? But now those high schoolers are 30, right? Like I'm in that weird place now where I'm like, oh my God, like you're old. And you bump into these kids sometimes. And a lot of kids, like everybody in their 20s, has no answers. Like, you're just promised a bill of goods that just is bullshit. Like, it's just not like you're told that things are supposed to be a certain way. And then you get through it and you open your eyes and you're 23 and you're like, this is not the way I thought this was going to go.
Right.
And all of them not all of them, but a lot of people feel lost when they hit those mid 20s, you know? And I just wanted to let people know, like, listen, I'm doing this at that point in time, I guess, when I wrote that first note, I think it was like the book's a year and a half old, but I had written it earlier. So let's just say I was 38 and I'm writing this thing just like it's fine. Like, it just have a plan, but take some risks, weather the storm. It's one of those things where you kind of just have to keep going. So that was my other thing I wanted to say. Yeah.
The reason why I asked that question too is because, like, I'm talking about this note, and there's a thing you say here: despite the chaos you may be going through right now, it gets better. And so, like, I have a nephew who's in his 20s now, and he likes to do this. He's into graphic design and stuff like that. But I feel like he's going through that where he's lost, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Like, he's like, what the hell? Like, he was a product of, like, he graduated high school in 2020.
Oh,
the
COVID
pandemic.
kid.
Yeah, he's a COVID. So he had, you know, he started his first year in college. He didn't get a chance to go to college like a normal kid would freshman year, getting to know friends. So it's very isolated, right? And it got very, I would think it got very dark for him in a way. And I feel like this is the kind of book, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes people say, I saw something that said, publish your comics, somebody needs to read them. And I believe that, dude. I believe that we all have a message and it's not this message that you, like you said, you throw, you're shoehorning. Nah. It's just things we've gone through. We put it on here and we hope that somebody reads it and kind of gets us. Yeah. And I think that, you know, this is something that honestly, I think like a kid in his 20s, mid 20s. And the beauty of it is it's a girl named Sam, but it doesn't matter that she's a girl. It's one of those things. So talk to me about the decision to make her a female versus, you know.
Yeah. So a couple decisions in there. So the first one was she's me, right? Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways. But I'm writing a story originally. It's October. Halloween stuff is everywhere. I like monster hunter movies and that medium.
Yeah.
And I was looking around, I'm like, man, there aren't a ton of female monster hunters that are shitheads. That was kind of the number one thing. Like, I was like, they're all you know, what's her name? The girl from Something Is Killing the Children, Jessica Slaughter, but she's like super elite at what she does, right? Like she's confident. She knows what she's doing. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, in the movie, she kind of learns, but by the television show, like she's legit. Like she knows what she's doing. Yeah. She has a guide, but she's pretty much firm in being the chosen one. And I was like, man, what if I was a monster hunter, I wouldn't have anything figured out. I don't even know if I would want to do it. It would. I wanted to explore that, but at the same time, again, I didn't want to make it a guy because there was like the John Constantine thing is there, and he's a little messy, but I don't think Sam is anything. I don't think because of I don't know if it was Grant Morrison or Garth Ennis or whoever spent the most time. I read some Hellblazer stuff, and that was just too like brooding for me. Like Constantine is a character who I love. Like I love that Keanu Reeves movie, even though people hate it. He was just too heavy of a guy.
I got you.
And there was this like deal with the devil. The stakes were like super high. I wanted someone who's like, she's just trying to figure it out. Like, I mean, she just wants to pay her rent.
Yeah.
You know, and when the story starts, like she's not even running dude a ton of create. Like it was bubbling. But like with Sam, like she's not even, when we meet her in the beginning of the story, like there aren't any stakes. Like she's just trying to get by.
Right.
And then more importantly than I think anything else is I genuinely believe sometimes that when you change the gender of a character, it removes you from the character a little bit more.
Okay.
And it was like, there was just like, I've dealt with a lot of loss. Like there was a lot of heavy stuff in my life, and I just I feel like removing yourself a little bit kind of gives you a little bit of distance that's easier to work through. Sam is also a love letter to like every funny, messy woman in my life. Like I don't think messy women are given their flowers enough. You know what I mean? Like my wife is she knows, she's like, I love her to death. She's a mess. We have this like running joke. Like I'm the type A in the relationship. So we joke. I'm like, yo, I tell her, I'm like, yo, you married like an 80-year-old woman and I married like a 13-year-old boy, like sometimes. So I'm like, yo, like this is, you know what I mean? But like, it's the most beautiful thing. I love it. I've had really funny aunts. I had friends in college who so I lived in Italy. This was inspired by me living in Italy for 2 months in Urbino, but there were a crew of girls that I would hang out with, and they were like my best friends. And they were just like, it was like me, like these 3 or 4 girls, a couple dudes, and we were like this merry band of misfits. And these girls were just like maniacs. And it was just they were just so fun to be around.
Right.
You know, I just wanted to stress that, like, I don't think that woman is celebrated enough in popular culture. It's one of the reasons why throughout the story, Sam is always eating something.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so like Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11.
Yes.
She's always eating something in this story. And again, so there's like, she has crumbs on her face, and it's like, I don't know. For me, that's the woman I love. You know what I mean? Like those are the girls that I like hanging out with. I don't want to deal with like, I don't prescribe to, I think, again, the woman that you sometimes see in comics too, this like femme fatale, Emma Frost, Jean Grey. Like if you look at like the X-Men crew, like all of those females are like super serious. Like they've gotten kind of funny recently. If anybody's read the new Exterminators run, it's very good and it's very messy and fun. But that's kind of why Sam is a female. That was a very long-winded response, but
that's awesome, dude. Daphne, I said, well, have you considered chain smoking? Daphne,
every time I go to Europe, dog, I want to smoke a cigarette.
There is so much pressure to write the strong female characters as opposed to a female character that is just a character. Gillian Flynn, Gone Girl, gets a lot of criticism for writing horrible women, but sometimes the fantasy is being a horrible woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to
So-
deal with being. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. So I speaking about the Gillian Flynn thing, man, I think one of my students one time, and I don't know if this is like the right comment, but she had either just seen Gone Girl or just read Gone Girl and had made a comment about like how much of a boss like that main character. I was like, murderer? Like, let's just clear the air. Murder. But I get it, right? Like I think in pop culture, you just, and I think this goes for guys too. I do want to say, like, I mean, Henry Cavill hit the genetic lottery, right? Like, great. But like, I don't see myself as Henry Cavill.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't see myself as some of these other, I mean, I see myself more as a Constantine, right? Like, but I think that's what makes that character kind of endearing, because people see these like messier characters and they identify with them, as opposed to characters that are just like, and these people that play these characters that are just like always polished, always good at what they do. You know, that was that. Yeah, I identify with that. I identify with that a lot.
Yeah, Kerry was just talking about he's got four brothers who are type A and he's type D. So he was just talking about that.
Put him in, dude. Put him in the basement, dude. Get rid of him. He's a liability.
So, Carmen, my last question was going to be the title, Proctor. But if people have read issue number 4, we find out why the title of the book is Proctor. And you mentioned, again, in the opening of the book, you talk about how you get that question asked all the time when you're doing interviews like this. So I'm not going to ask you that question. I want people to read the book, go pick it up. The campaign is live right now on Kickstarter. And how many days you got left there?
8 days.
8 days. So it finishes October 2nd, 2025. How has this campaign, how has it gone for you? Are you learning anything from it? What have you learned? What you like, yo, I should not have done that. Like, how's it going, man? How do you feel about this one?
So this has been the best campaign that we've had so far. I'm always quick. So our very first campaign, we got like, I think we raised like $6,500, and people always look to that campaign. They're like, that did so well. Like, what, you know, are my backer numbers moving north, but or getting close to that 126. I think issue 4, we were at 132. Right now we're at 129 and we still have days left. So I'm hoping that kind of pops. And normally we see a pop at the last week. Right. But you know, the first campaign was like mostly friends and family. And that's what I tell people when we talk about like Kickstarters and Kickstarter success. You know, issue 1, I think, and I'm a nerd for data, so I have like all the numbers in the spreadsheets. Like, I think issue 1 saw like 70 friends and family show up and spend money. And because again, it's like with issue 1, it's adorable. With issue 1, it's like, it's so cute that you're making a comic, man. You're having a nervous breakdown. You're having a midlife crisis. Here's $100, you know, like that sort of thing, which I love and I respect and thank you. You know what I mean? Like, but most of the time, unless people are like readers or legit fans of the project, people don't stick around, and I understand that. So, you know, with issue 2 and then 3, the amount of money raised dropped a little bit because the same people aren't showing up and dropping, you know, $700. Like, my brother bought Andrea Scalmasi's original art for this cover.
Dude,
right?
He's a great artist. Bro.
He's a monster. He's at Boom Studios now. He's doing Dune. He and I are working on a pitch to Image right now.
Nice.
So my brother bought that cover, but like that was $700. So, and like that wasn't because I put any money in my pocket. Like I was like, Andrea, what do you want? You know what I mean? And then the cover shipping and fees and everything else. So like it's been patience has been the name of the game because those big spenders aren't showing up again, understandably so. And now I'm finally at a point where, like, for issue 1, we had 70 friends and family. Issue 5, right now, with 129 backers, I've got 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like 9 people that I know personally from, like, my life inner circle.
Wow.
And
You got
for anybody who's doing it, that's probably natural. You know, I don't expect people to, like, hang out unless they love it, right?
Right.
And I'm super grateful for anybody who's stuck around. So, like, I've been learning a lot from the boys over at Indigo Genesis. They just wrapped their Kickstarter campaign a little bit ago. You know, those guys I'm just watching kind of what they do, you know, and I'm paying attention to campaigns that are doing well. And, you know, I mean, I'm just going to tell people, like, it's advertised on the pages. Like, a lot of people will use Launchboom, which is like a company that you can hire that will kind of teach you how to design your marketing campaigns.
Right.
I essentially just have spent my, like, all summer, like, Googling, like, best practices on, like, social media marketing. And it's not for the faint of heart, man. Like, I just, like, real talk, dude. I'm like, I'm almost like $2,000 in the marketing alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's paying dividends. Like, it's definitely working.
Right.
But when you see these campaigns that are raising, unless they've been doing it a while, like, there are Kickstarter campaigns that have been doing this for 10 years and they've launched 20 projects and they are raising in the 30,000, 40,000,
Sure.
which, like, yeah, for you earned it. You got your community. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But there are some projects where you see, like, oh, it's the first project launched, second project launched. And then you'll see, like, you know, Launchboom, you know, or insert other company that they, you know, that sometimes you get those ads.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, a lot of those companies, you're spending, it is not unlikely that people are spending $100 a day in marketing for months.
That's great.
To launch the comic. So, like, when you see that it's the first one launched and they've been they've got $60,000 raised, $50,000 raised, you kind of realize, like, in some instances, not all, but in some instances, it's a ton of money going into marketing for funnel. And I'm not saying that, like, poo-poo, like, who cares? I'm saying that, like, I cheer those people on and I commend them because you are taking on the scariest financial risk that you can take on as a creator, which is you are investing tens of thousands of dollars in some instances on you're betting on you, and you don't even know if that's going to win until the campaign ends. Like, some of these strategies that I've been reading, like, so you're spending, depending on your scale and your funnel and where you're at, you're spending $50 to $100 a day during pre-launch.
Right. Just
So
to
you're
get
like,
the freedom, right?
just to get the notify me button clicked.
Right.
And you don't even know if that's going to actually trigger a purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's been the biggest learning experience from me, is, like, following these other campaigns and just looking at what they're doing, paying attention to, like, a word of advice, guys, to anybody who's launching a book, you are getting ads. Pay attention to the ads. Like, I think if you plan on launching an ad, or you should be paying attention to the ads that come to you. You're the market demo. And if the market demo is like you, then make ads that are working on you. Right. So, like, just, like, literally there was a while over the summer, like, every time I got an ad, I was just, like, screenshotting it. You know what I mean? Screenshotting the ad, opening up the comments, screenshotting that, taking a look and be like, oh, that probably wouldn't work for me. This probably wouldn't work for me. Oh, that language is pretty good.
It's funny
know?
how we do that, right? We like, and Sam, we talk about, because we have campaigns that are launching next, like in a few weeks,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, how do we get the notify me button clicked, and and okay, what's like, we look at your campaign is a beautiful campaign, bro. You've
Thank
done
you.
an incredible job with that campaign, and I'm
Yeah.
telling you, everybody watching, check it out. I think you're at 130 right now, so that's awesome. But yeah, no, so we're constantly, everybody, you have to study. You have to study the stuff. At the end of the day, once that button is clicked and once people, pledge to the campaign, it's about the product, and the
Yeah.
product's got to be good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I have this set up for you guys right here. This is when I saw page 1, bro, I was like, all right, Carmen's serious. He's serious. This guy's for real. So, it's a good book, brother. I appreciate you coming on, man, and talking to us and being candid about, everything you're doing. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, guys. And I'm apologizing for getting on late, dude. I've been in, I've been in public education world, just in a tunnel. So thank you.
We could talk all night, man, about what you're doing and your book and everything like that. But we'll save it for your next campaign.
Yeah, right on. Thank you.
When you come on, next time, just come on and we'll talk some more about this thing. 6-issue miniseries?
6-issue miniseries, issue 6. So we got lucky with our scheduling. Ricardo is starting issue 6 in October. So inks might be done for issue 6 by December, which means we might do Kickstarter launch February, March for issue 6. Nice. And then it's done unless somebody decides to pick it up, or unless it does well enough. In a perfect world, I would like to run it back and do issues 7 through 12 and another 6-issue mini. So if I can do it, I can. But for my people who I like 6 issues, you will get a complete story with issue 6.
That's awesome, dude. Carmen, thank you so much, my brother. And
thanks.
You're welcome back anytime, man.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
I got you, brother. Later.
All right, that's coming. Check it out. Proctor, link is in the chat. It's also in the summary. Go give it a shot, man.
Yeah, no, this is an awesome book, dude. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying, it's really, really a well-written book. The artwork is freaking ridiculous. I didn't even get to ask him about his artist, but we were just running out of time there. But yeah, no, Carmen, you're welcome back anytime, my brother. Anytime. This is awesome, dude. Yeah. So check it out, Proctor, on Kickstarter, right now.
Spooky T says, know your target audience and recognize what audience you are as well.
Yeah. That's good. Good
Absolutely.
Points. Good point.
Yeah.
So Sam, talk to me. Forbidden. What do we got going on?
Forbidden. What do we got going on? I got a little promo. How about that?
This dark fantasy just shattered everything I thought I knew about ancient mythology, and I can't put it down. Samuel crafts a world where forbidden scrolls hold power beyond imagination. The Scroll of Nokron isn't your typical good versus evil story. Light becomes the enemy, darkness reveals truth, and heroes question everything they believed. Ancient lore meets complex characters in ways that will keep you turning pages all night. This indie masterpiece delivers morally gray anti-heroes who feel refreshingly real. Grab your copy now and discover why death comes with light.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about this.
Nice.
Yes. I'm excited about this. And, it's, I wrote this 25 years ago, bro, and I remember grinding, just creating the world and creating all the characters and the subplots and the bios and the history and the world building. It was, and then, to finally just have it, I wanted it off. I needed it off my system. I needed it out of my system. And, I was very proud of the work that everybody did on it. The work that Anibal did and Prime Santra and the cover by Eric Ifata and the colors by Barbara Soroji and the letters that you did. I mean, I think everybody came together and put together a really solid project, and I'm excited to have the final piece. And it's going to be offered as a hardcover and a soft cover, 2 options on the Kickstarter. There's going to be a 48-hour special, which is like a super bundle that you can only get for those 48 hours. Is exciting. And there's going to be some, I got together with a bunch of indies and I got a lot of backer goals and stretch goals where you get free digital copies of other comics from other indie creators, which is pretty dope. Every time we hit a threshold, you get another free digital copy. So there's a lot of good stuff, and there's also a secret reward that I will
Nice.
be sending out to backers. They get a chance to get that because it's very limited. That secret reward. So I'm really excited about this. Finally get it. One of the things when I did issues 0 and 1 on Kickstarter, one of the biggest questions I always got is when is the next one's coming out, or when are you going to put the graphic novel out? And so now finally get it done. Also gives me time to work on issue 8 of Disney on my toilet on the back end. But get this out there to the masses, and I'm really excited about this project, bro.
Yeah, I think Daphne has a question for you here. She says, "I know this has been done for a while, but what does it feel like how does it feel like to put a bow on it with an omnibus? Does it feel finished, or are you looking to do more in that world?"
It's funny that you say that. I'm looking to do more of what Carmen did as a prose. So, and that's what. Yeah. So I am looking to tell the story through different character perspectives, right? Because in this world, you have a lot of different elements, and you're living the world through Desiree, right? Because she's basically the glue that keeps the family together, right? And but there's a lot of side stories, and I want to tell a bunch of short stories. So I was listening to him. I just didn't know how, right? So I was like, so I have all these short stories that I've been working on with the characters. I've been building because I already have all their bios and this and the back history. But that's like I really wanted to create it as a prose, and for a long time I was debating: do I just create Forbidden as a novel, as a prose, and just rewrite it as a full-blown story? But I was like, yo, if I start that journey, I don't know when it'll ever end, because when you write it's easier when you write a comic because it's anecdotes, right? It's clips, it's moments in time, right? But then if you're going to write a full-blown story, so as you can see, as I'm talking to you out loud, there's a lot of thoughts in my head, but I want to start with the short stories. So I have these short stories that I plan on doing after the book is released. And I don't know what format I'm going to do it, whether it's going to be like audio downloads. I'm just trying to figure out what format I want to do it as to start. But yeah, I do have a lot of ideas for the Forbidden World.
Yeah, no, I think, whenever we create these worlds and we put these things together, we put these things out there, I think only some of that story ends up on the page or ends up in the comic. There's so much more that you can do with the world, especially when it's fleshed out, especially when you have you call it the Bible or whatever. Like even with like the Adventures of Wonder Dog, I had a gentleman approach me. He's like, "Hey, listen, I'm putting something together. Would you be interested in maybe doing some maybe just some 12-page stories or 10-page stories or whatever of Wonder Dog? Maybe I could put them in there." And I was like, you know what? There's so many stories I can tell. It's the Adventures of Wonder Dog. You know what I'm saying? So of course, there are tons of things that you can pull from, to do this. And so, yeah, I think when we do that, when we have these stories, these elaborate, especially like that, something like Forbidden or something, you are going to have things that you're not going to be able to fit in the book. And this is why, talking to Carmen, he did an incredible job with these things, because it doesn't take you away from the book. If anything, it just makes you want to read the comic even more to find out more about these characters.
And actually, is it? What is it?
So many novels.
She said so many novels have been doing comic book versions. It'd be to see the reverse. And then Casey says, "I've had some of my peer critics seem to demand more character exposition to understand the upfront, but I can't avoid doing it. It's a slow burn." Yeah. So it was Anibal. It was actually Anibal who triggered it last year. So I'm working on my own novelization on my part, as adding all the extras. Yeah. So Anibal, he's like, man, because being the artist, he got to read the entire thing, right? And so he's like, I feel like there's just so much more that you can tell, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you're right. You can never. I mean, you think about it. It's a big book, but what happened during that entire time that they've been in the cavern, right?
Right. There's so many stories just inside the cavern.
There's the elements of them growing up, right? There's the whispering winds, the whispering tunnels. There's a lot of things that happen how did she ever meet Shaku, right? You know, there's that character that comes into the mix. There's a lot of different elements. So it's like, I want to tell those perspectives because I already have the premise. And so that's where, and it was that conversation with Anibal that triggered me to say, you know what, maybe I should start just fleshing out their stories through their perspectives and then go from there.
What's Carmen says, if you want a fantastic lesson on how to move through a story by way of short chapters and vignettes, read The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. All right.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it was actually, so shout out to Anibal because he was the one who triggered it when he made that comment back then. I was like, you know what? He's got a point here. I need to go back and rethink this. And then when I went back because, you know, I wrote it 25 years ago. So I just went back and started reading it again. I was like, man, if I told this story, I say, but you know, it's easier for me to just flesh it out and write it than it would be to write it and then hire an artist and all that other stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just do short stories. So what he did was very smart. What Carmen did, I thought it was pretty, listening to that conversation, I thought it was pretty legit.
Yeah. Have you read any novels that give you an idea as how you want your novel to read? Yeah. I mean, for me, it's, like I mentioned Mitch Albom, he wrote Tuesdays with Maury. He wrote The Five People You Meet in Heaven. Yeah. His style of writing, I love his style of writing. Like just the way he tells stories. Like, and he'll be telling you the story that he's telling you, but he jumps over here somewhere else, and he'll tell you that story for a little bit, and he comes back, but and he ties it up all nicely. Like he's brilliant at what he does. And like to your point, Daphne, when I read stuff like that, I'm like, damn, I wish. That's what I want my stuff to read like. So yeah, for sure. I think I definitely do.
Yeah. And I think that's basic what I came to terms with it. I was like, you know what? And I love to write. It's, you know, it's one of the things, even like when I met Anibal, everything was ready for him. You know, I just didn't know when I was going to produce the project. I just know that I wrote it. I had the scripts written. I had the bios. The world was already created. So it was easy. So I love writing when I'm alone and it's quiet. At night, it's usually when I write. It's usually at night when everyone's asleep, and I could just go in my office and just think out loud, and I just start typing. But yeah, so that's the goal. Long term, it's the short stories. It just format wise, I just don't know what format I plan on doing it.
Yeah.
With your new art style, you could illustrate that now. These pinups and more for your book. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm having fun, but I'm a slow artist when it comes to that style. So where Duty, I can do an entire page in a day, pencils, ink, colors. But when I'm drawing, you know, more realistic type, it'll take me a couple of days. And so it'll take me a lot longer. So I'll do pinups, I'll do covers, I'll do splash pages. For me to draw a 24-page comic in that style will take me a few months, where Duty will take me 30 days to do a full 24-page comic. It'll take me a month, where if I did it, that Forbidden probably take me 3 to 4 months to do it. So
advice I've heard is that origins come in a more natural flow if the reader gets to know the character, much the same as with a new friend, a gradual reveal of a lot of those things. I agree with that. I think that's a more natural way to kind of like, instead of just saying, okay, this is the you know, the origin of this character, you kind of talk like, I guess the dialogue and the adventures they go through tell you more. I think that's why I think I enjoyed what Carmen was doing too, is because you don't find out what Proctor is until the 4th issue, but you've gotten to know Sam. And you've gotten to know what she's going through and her relationship with her mom and that kind of stuff. So once you get to the reveal of the Proctor name, you're like, holy, like you're blown away by it. You're like, holy, that's what that is. So and I feel like with a book like, for example, what you're doing, Sam, with Forbidden, there's that father-son dynamic that you can explore in a prose book, right?
Yeah.
Where you can go deeper into it in a prose book versus what's on the page right now.
Yeah. And I think, you know, what's interesting, when I wrote Forbidden, it started out with sin. It started out with the name Sin, right? And that was the beginning of the journey. And that's like, why the name Sin? Is that his real name? No, that's the name he earned because he committed the ultimate sin against the family. And that's how I started building it. And it was his story. But as it evolved, it became Desirat's story, right? So there's a transition that happens, right? So it starts off with that father-son conflict, right? But then it rolls into, you start seeing different elements and different characters rise to the forefront. And that just happened organically as I was writing it, because it started to make sense, right? Because he was so explosive and unpredictable. Where was the rationale going to come from? Where was the sound judgment going to come from? Who was that voice of reason in the family, right? So that's how I started building it out. It was a happy twist, as it just. I always say that when I'm creating, there's somebody from another world that's just speaking through me. I'm just a tool, right? And it's just like it just starts coming, because when it starts flowing, it flows, right? And I think when I did Forbidden, it just flowed.
Yeah.
Casey says, advice I've heard is that
You
origins
read
come.
that one.
Oh, we did? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And for those who are joining us, we will be launching. I will be launching the Shameless Plug on October 7th, and Sam will be launching Forbidden the week right after on October 14th.
Yeah.
So make sure you join us.
And there's some cool stuff for that you'll get on George's campaign.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So we are going to be launching a week apart, but if you pledge to both campaigns, Sam worked on a piece that we will be revealing the week that we launch, the week that I launch. I will be showing you the piece that he did that you can get. So if you pledge to both campaigns, you will get that piece drawn by Sam. So make sure you tune in for that. Knowing the characters, world history, and the relationships between them is a must. Too many series, books, or franchises fall apart because the creators were clearly making it up on the spot. Yeah, and you know what? Some of that stuff may not even make it to the book, but the fact that you know it leaves you with information to create a more cohesive story, and to like what we're talking about, create even more stories after the fact. Big shout out to Nem. What up, Nem? Dave Howard's in the house. What's up, fellas? Congrats on Forbidden and your appearance, George. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. No, I'm not. It's exciting. It's exciting to finally get this. And it's one of the things that, like, since I've been in Texas, everybody knows me for Duty, but they don't know about the other side, right? I started doing comics with Cosmic Wars and Forbidden, and that's how I broke into comics. And so it's good to show another side of my writing skills and my world
there's
building.
more stuff, dude. Like, there's so much more stuff. I was just thinking about this because during Halloween, it's Halloween's coming up. I go to this, and you have Halloween stuff, Oogly Booglies and R and
Mandy
Pandies, and so there's other stories. I think you've made Duty a focus that you want to focus on. But there are definitely, and this happens to every creator and every writer. It's not just one story for us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure people listening and people watching, I'm sure if you're a writer, creator, you have more than one. You're not a one-trick pony. You may choose to kind of just do one thing because sometimes it's easier just to be able to push that one thing and just focus on that one thing, and I'm gonna just push that one thing and see it through. But we are constantly creating stories, bro. Constantly creating stories. Are there any other stories you want to work next outside of Duty and Forbidden?
Yes, it's Cosmic Wars. It's really Cosmic Wars, and that's why if in Duty, Gorf makes an appearance, and in Duty's Monsters, Gorf is in Duty's Monsters, and he also makes an appearance in if you got issue number 7, No Boo for You. There's a character at the end that makes an appearance. So I'm introducing Gorf because my goal is to do a one-shot Cosmic Wars, but it's 4 issues, but I'm gonna do it as a graphic novel instead of single issues. I just want to release it as a graphic novel and a one-shot Gorf story. So I'm building the momentum in Duty because they both aliens and they share the same universe. And Gorf plays a pivotal role in Duty's Monsters. If you picked up issue number 1 2 years ago, I think when I released it, because I'll finish that story eventually. So it's actually Cosmic Wars. It's my baby. It's always been my baby. It's one of the first characters I created, and the first comic I released as Crazy Comics back in 03.
Yeah, that's an old book, bro. KC's already planning out his YouTube Halloween videos. And Mike was going to ask the same question.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah. So tune in, guys. What do we got next week, Sam? Who's on the show next week?
Next week, we're going
to be doing this during the shows. We're going to have our guest, and then we're going to just kind of dive into some of the stuff that we got going on for our campaigns, because these things are coming up, and they're coming up fast. Next week is already the 30th.
Yeah,
then right after that, I'll be launching, and then the week after that, Sam launches, and in between we have conventions and appearances and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty busy.
Yeah, we have Angel Fuentes. Angel Fuentes. It's Panic O Press or Panico Press.
Panico Press.
Panico
yes,
Press.
I met him at Terrificon as well. They have, it's the publishing company.
He goes to me on Facebook.
And then George Finn goes to me on Facebook, finally hit me up.
Yeah.
With the friend.
So
I didn't even know you were on there, bro. That's crazy.
So a couple of things on the Forbidden Kickstarter Live. There will be I will be sharing a QR code during the live, and there will be trivia that everyone will be able to do on your phones live. So you want to be on the show on Catch Da Craze, we'll be doing. And I will have your the winners' answers on the screen. So we'll be doing it live, and I'll be sharing it on the screen. It won't be a raffle; it'll be a trivia question. So there'll be some bonus questions. So if you haven't done so already, sign up for Forbidden. And when you sign up, let me know. I'll send you the link to download issue number 0, so you can get like a little insight into Forbidden. But we will be having some live trivia for Forbidden. It's going to be fun during the live stream. And
Lou says,
again,
is this another test? Lou's gonna get nervous. He's like,
Lupin loves this test. and again, look out the night before for the link for the secret reward tier that you'll get on email the night before. And it's gonna be fun. We're gonna launch. It's gonna be dope. And there's a 48-hour bundle it's amazing that you're gonna want to snatch up. But I'm excited. So there's a hardcover edition and there's a softcover edition. And in the book, not only in the book, there's also the artist renditions by Daphne Lage, Hector Rodriguez, what's his name? A bunch of artists that submitted their Forbidden over the year that also featured in this mega graphic novel. Also, never before seen pages done by Anibal Arroyo. There's director's cut, there's scripts, there's storyboards, artist bios. It's a really packed graphic novel. It's pretty dope.
Yeah. Did you know that Jar Behind Sam looks like my ex-girlfriend about 1,000 years ago? Don't know what that means.
don't know refreshments.
Refreshments. She wants a diploma. We'll do it live.
Yeah. So there's an app where we're gonna be doing the raffle, the trivia live. It's gonna be fun.
An app for that. I like it.
So you have to be on the show. I'll put up the QR code. You'll scan the QR code, and we'll get the games going live. It'll be fun, and we'll make it fun. And again, please share it out with everybody. Let everybody know where to find it. Forbidden right here on Kickstarter. And again, if you sign up, you get a free digital download, so you can get the first 16 pages of story.
Yeah. Issue 0. And I wanted just to give a big shout out to everybody who's been pre-ordering the book for the shameless plug, because I did this thing, and I don't know if it's gonna bite me when we launch, but I basically have 2 options for people. You can either pre-order the book on my website, no Kickstarter, just pre-order the book, or you can wait for the Kickstarter and pledge to the campaign on the Kickstarter. A lot of people have already pre-ordered the book, so thank you very much to everybody who's done that. So I can't wait to get those books out to you. To those who haven't done so yet and are waiting for the Kickstarter, I'm glad you're doing that as well. This cover right here, I'll show it to you guys. This was done by Chris Mad. This is only available on the Kickstarter. So if you want this cover, make sure you come on the Kickstarter. But we'll have more information, and more stuff will be coming out next week. We'll dive a little more into what we're doing. Which would you rather, Kickstarter or pre-order? It's open. Nah, you can do either one, man. Like, I lowered the goal on Kickstarter because that one is going to be, it's just going to pay for the printing, most of it. But like I said, if you want the perks, because there are going to be perks, and we'll talk more about that next week. If you want to wait for the Kickstarter, do so. It's totally up to you.
So let me ask you this, George. So you offered this super mysterious, amazing print by the talented, crazy man Vera. Are the people who pre-order it and back Forbidden still get that still amazing print or no?
No, that's going to go strictly for the Kickstarter.
All right, cool.
It's going to be for the Kickstarter.
So
but,
if you want
that super dope,
amazing print,
gotta give them a reason to Kickstarter as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, and listen, and it's worked out, like as far as the pre-orders, because again, that's all, you know, I don't have to worry about, oh, what are they taking from that, or did the orders come, you know, did the money go through or whatever. It's all there already. But the Kickstarter is also a good way to get some more stuff. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I teamed up with the library in Yonkers, and I'm going to be donating books to the library. So everybody who pledges to that tier, they'll get both covers, free shipping, both covers, and 5 books go to the library. So that's something you guys can take advantage of on the Kickstarter as well.
I do want to give a plug to my boy Christian Alawas.
Yes,
he sent me his book, The Freelancer.
Oh,
I will be doing a review of The Freelancer, like I did in his last book. So I'm reading it now. So shout out to Christian Alawas. He's doing big things. This is his second book, which is pretty fantastic. And I love the fact that he trusts me to be able to honor him with feedback in the book review. So thank you again for trusting me with your hard-earned work. And I can't wait to share that with all you guys.
Yeah. Nem says he heard that crazy Vera dude beat a man with a pencil in Alaska. Rumors out there.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
You know evil, hear no evil.
Hey, yo. All right, well, listen, guys,
Tony.
tune in next week. We're gonna have more crazy stories by the crazy man Vera and his violent streak. And we're also gonna have Panico Press next week. So we'll be back, man.
Yes. And then if you haven't done so already, check out the Comic Shop Anthology. You can also get Forbidden for free if you back that campaign, and also Snowpaw. If you back that campaign, you can also get Forbidden Zero free with them. So you can either get Forbidden Zero by signing up on my Kickstarter and letting me know, and I'll send you the link, or you can back those 2 fantastic campaigns for a copy of issue 0. So again, with that said, I am Sam the Crazy Man Vera,
George the Dreamer Medina,
and we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him.
Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking?
Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the...
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.